some of these founders are putting their life
Oh
savings
yeah,
into this.
exactly.
Like, it's not,
No,
you
this is
know.
someone who almost bankrupt himself to do this.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So when it's when the stakes are that high, um, there isn't failure just doesn't feel like an option. But as we've said, like, you can do everything right and still fail. Like, this is literally a spin on the roulette wheel. So when we're gambling with big things like, my home, my reputation, um, my success and how I see myself, my self worth. So many founders create, games about themselves and put themselves in it, and it becomes a reflection. It's very personal to who they are. It's totally understandable that there's going to be this kind of high pressure situation, and some are going to respond not even badly. Like, it's really understandable when it comes from that space,
right. Yeah,
but as a result of that, people get hurt. And so I guess that's the conversation to be had, is like, how do we acknowledge that all of this stuff sucks? Like, it does, it sucks. You've put your house on the market, you've maybe, taken out a bank loan, you've got a publisher yelling at you, your partner's threatening to leave because you haven't earned any money because you're busy paying staff. Your staff are mad at you because you haven't turned up for the team because you've been so busy trying to get funds, and everyone's just mad and it just feels awful. How do we make that feel healthier? And that's I think the bit that I'm really interested in. And how do we have those conversations about what does that look like? Burnout is everywhere in the games industry, and we often tap on it really gently and be like, oh, burnout's the thing that happens, it really does, but nobody's really talking about how we get there and how we solve that, I guess.
there's a sort of a paradox in here, or an irony, or whatever you want to call it, that in the space of game devs at least, and I think actually more broadly, as you come into power and authority, one of the most important things you must immediately do is figure out how to let go. And it's very counterintuitive. It's like, well, now I'm in charge. Yes, so let go. Um, but I
Yes.
don't in both in the military, which is my background before games, and in games, that was it. And if you can't, then you kind of cap yourself as like, then you can be a really high powered solo dev or an individual contributor, but if you can't let go, then you will eventually become the bottleneck that does hurt people and does unintentionally cause harm, not just to others, but to yourself, to the product you're trying to make, like the game you're putting out, the company. um, and yeah, it's just a
But we
it's
all know
not
how
intuitive.
hard that is, though, right? If I just say,
Yeah.
if you're mad about something and I go, oh, just let it go, like, how annoying is that? Like,
Yeah.
no, I will not.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I teach this, and yet even when it happens, me and my partner have a fight or a disagreement about something, and I refuse to let it go. I want that. I want apologies. I want retribution. I want everything, because that's my
Yeah.
human nature, my ego coming in, being really mad about it, and like, yeah, that's part of it. But it's, how hard is that to actually do in real life?
Yeah. Yeah. It's certainly easier said than done. That's for sure.